Hey guys, what's up? Nakhshon here. I've been doing movement training for 6 years and today I want to react to Barefoot running. It's a video about the Tarahumara. I don't know. I guess it's a tribe of some sort because I heard something a few years back about barefoot running and I investigated it just a tiny bit and it seemed really cool. And I think it's really related to movement training because running is obviously a very basic movement that we all learn at one point being very, very young. What I really like about it is its inclination towards being more natural. Now, I've seen a few videos about it in the past. I don't remember some of them. I do remember something about not using shoes and landing in a specific way, and that there's like a tribe somewhere that like runs a lot and whatever. I don't remember everything, but I do remember that it's really cool and that I wanted one day to learn it. I also ran a bit while doing barefoot running and it was really cool. It's very different and difficult, but I think it would be really interesting to react to this because it seems like a very popular video about a topic that is really interesting to me and I think really relates to movement training. Before we start this video, if you want to join our community about movement training, it's really cool and supportive and positive and stuff and even intellectual. You wouldn't know it by watching my videos, but apparently there are a lot of intellectual people watching my videos. So if you're interested in joining this community, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Anyway, let's get started.
The marathon. Over 26 miles, it is one of the most grueling events in sports, pushing the human body to extremes. This is the ultimate endurance test, where highly trained runners earn their reputation as some of the most elite athletes on the planet.
Yeah.
But are they? In the remote mountains of North...
Marathon is an interesting thing because for example, I don't like running. I just don't enjoy it. I really love dancing and that like works on my cardio system, which is good, I guess. But I just don't like running. It's not fun for me so much and I don't get people who run so much. I mean, I can understand that there are things that other people enjoy that I don't, like food and whatever, you know? Running for so long seems like a very damaging thing to your body. Obviously, there are damaging things you do to your body even in movement training, right? So doing a lot of handstands is not the most healthy thing you can do for your wrist, for example. But running seems to me like not very fun and causing a lot of damage. So yeah, I don't get it, but like, I guess a lot of people really enjoy it, so yeah.
Northern Mexico, a little-known tribe is redefining the limits of human endurance. They can run 435 miles, 16 times further than a marathon, in just over 2 days. How could this be possible?
What?
Experts are attempting to uncover the secrets to their superhuman ability.
Really?
Is it unique, or do we all have it?
Like I've heard about ultra marathon nerds, like people who run like these distances, but I don't think they run that fast. And as a tribe, because we have like a lot of technology, you know, people wear like really advanced shoes and stuff, and I guess they take like some energy juices and stuff like that in the middle to get more energy and stuff. But even then, it's such an extreme sport to do. Like it takes your body to such extreme like levels of stress that is like, this is so much beyond like my limits or anyone normal's limits, I guess. So it's insane.
Finding the answer could change the future of medical science.
Weird what? Ooh.
In the remote Sierra Madre Mountains of northwest Mexico lies Copper Canyon, a rugged region home to a tribe called the Tarahumara, the running people. The Tarahumara have inhabited this terrain for 500 years. Their name comes from their ability to run superhuman distances without running shoes. How do they do it?
And why do they wear these skirts?
Chris McDougall is a former marathon.
Like running a lot is important and I guess it's cool and stuff, but why are they wearing these like red shirts and skirts? That's the bigger question.
Runner.
You know?
He is astonished by the Tarahumara's extraordinary endurance.
This is an entire tribe of people that can run distances well beyond 100
Oh, so he's the
miles.
one who wrote that
They
book.
routinely run 200, 250 miles at a time. And not just some people, but all of them, men and women, old and young alike.
Remarkably,
Really?
the tribe record for a single run is a staggering 435 miles in just over 48 hours. It's
Why would
equivalent
you
to
do that?
running from New York to Cleveland, Ohio.
Why would you ever do that, man? It's so painful. And why are you wearing
To
these
run this
skirts?
distance over 16 times further than a marathon in one session defies belief. But
Yeah.
even more remarkable is how they do it.
Ooh.
Either barefoot or these thin homemade sandals made out of either deer skin, or whenever people like chuck old tires down in the canyons, they'll actually scamper out, salvage the tires, and cut them into sandals.
With little or
This looks like Source's sandals. In Israel, it's like very popular. But I guess the friction like between your fingers could be really painful with these like laces. I don't know.
no protection, the Tarahumara's endurance
No protection.
surpasses even the best Olympic athletes. How? Sports nutritionist John Rinaldi thinks their remote environment plays an important role in their extraordinary ability.
These
That and wearing the
individuals
skirts.
run as an integral
How can you be taken seriously with this kind of mustache? Like you knew you were coming to like an interview, right? You were going to be a professional's opinion on something, and you. This is rough, man.
part of their culture. They run for survival, they run for inter-village communication, and they run for sport.
The Tarahumara live to run. They regularly compete in races of 200 or 300 miles through rugged mountainous terrain. Delivering mail, they can run up to 500 miles in a week.
They do know there's something called the internet though, right? Like, I guess if you're really a purist and you want to be, you know, an athlete to the core, like a real mover, you don't just send mail over the internet. You do it physically by yourself, you know? I can get it.
So you can imagine if you lived in a culture where running was the only means of athletic expression,
Yeah.
and you had to run for survival as well, you actually get pretty good at running.
Yeah.
So how do the Tarahumara run these superhuman distances? Could diet be the answer?
Diet.
During a 26-mile race, an average marathon runner will burn around 2,600 calories. To endure this distance, their bodies need to consume large amounts of carbohydrates,
Yeah.
like those found in sports drinks.
Yeah, that's what I was saying at first.
Carbohydrates are stored as glycogen in the muscles and
Yeah.
are gradually converted to energy. But on a 435-mile run, it is estimated that the Tarahumara can burn up to a staggering 43,000 calories.
Whoa.
Where do they get this energy?
From their skirts.
John McDougall studied the Tarahumara's diet. He was astonished at what he found.
Probably
They
fat.
drink like crazy, particularly at harvest time.
During harvests and before races,
not fat.
the Tarahumara consume large amounts of corn beer called tesquino. Could this
Corn
be
beer.
the key to their extraordinary endurance?
Okay.
They actually may be increasing their hydration status and their glycogen status with this corn beer. It's very
Right.
high in carbohydrate and the alcohol content is low. It's actually been estimated that it would take about 4 liters to get intoxicated using their corn beer or their corn beverage.
That
so
sucks.
if you think about it, the amount of carbohydrates that would come with that and the amount of just simple fluid load would be very high.
Yeah.
But does diet alone
So they're just a tribe of alcoholics, is that what they're saying? That would explain why they run for such long distances, you know? Because their brain isn't like completely 100%, you know? It explains some things. Yeah.
explain why the Tarahumara have superhuman endurance? Dan Lieberman thinks there might be another answer.
Very
The Tarahumara's
serious.
abilities to run really long distances really comes from our evolutionary history as hunters.
Yeah.
We live in a world that's so different from the world for which we evolved that we have lost a lot of those abilities.
Hundreds of thousands of years ago, early human hunters had to pursue their prey over long distances.
And
They
wear
would
weird
literally
stuff.
chase animals until they died of heat exhaustion. It's called persistence hunting, and is still practiced by the Tarahumara today.
What you do is you run at a
That's like, on one hand, it's really, really cool. On the other hand, it's so ineffective that my lazy part of me is like, why? But it's very natural, and for some reason I have like attraction to it, and I appreciate it. That's cool, yeah.
speed that makes an animal gallop. Most quadrupeds, the way they cool down is by panting. When an animal gallops, it can't pant, so it slowly heats up and heats up and heats up.
Evolution has provided humans with many ways to endure long distances. Were we born to run?
I think so.
We have features all throughout our bodies, literally from our heads to our toes, that help us run long distances, both in terms of storing up and releasing mechanical energy, in terms of cooling, in terms of recruiting energy and storing energy. And what the Tarahumara have done is they've kind of kept those mechanisms, and they keep developing them as they grow up. Most of us have those abilities, it's just that we don't use them.
It's so interesting hearing about the mechanics of how the body works when we do different movements, and figuring out like what was the body intended to do, or how it works, how we can activate it. I think that's like the most interesting thing for me in movement training. It can, obviously you can translate it into running, which is what's being done here by his explanation, but it's so interesting to understand how things work in your body. That's really, really cool. I like it. I wonder like what would happen if, besides like the functional part of like how to survive, and that's why they run and hunt and stuff, you know, what would happen if a culture would have like a very generalist perspective on movement, and would persuade like the younger ones, like they would educate from a very young age to move, what you could see happening. It's really interesting to me to see, because the problem exists today, you know. It's not just with running, it's with our lifestyle. We don't move a lot, and seeing people running for long distances like really proves that when something is ingrained in you from a very early age, like you can get amazing results. So I'm really curious about what would happen if a society had like the same norms but for movement training, you know, having very wide perspective about how to move. That would be really, really cool. Yeah.
With little or no need for exercise, Dan believes our modern lifestyle is to blame.
Why would you want to persistence hunt nowadays? I mean, we can go to our supermarket, we can buy our meat, you know, fully packaged in a container.
Dan believes there's another reason why we don't run like the Tarahumara.
When we started studying barefoot running and minimalist shoe running, we learned that there are some interesting aspects to the way that Tarahumara run that may be actually of some use to us.
The Tarahumara don't use conventional running shoes. They run in thin, homemade sandals called huaraches, or they run barefoot. Could this be the answer to their superhuman abilities?
Yeah.
Sports scientists...
Who shot this video? Like, why do they have to shoot like everyone in such horrible like lighting and stuff? Like, it's like the camera is here. Like, I don't get it, man.
Dr. Irene Davis suspects that because the Tarahumara run without shoes,
bones.
They run differently than most modern marathon runners. And that this may be the key to their amazing endurance. Today, she's going to test her theory in the lab.
We're going to start you up and we're going to have you walk just to kind of get you warmed up, and then we'll break it into a run. And I want you to just land your natural type of a landing. We're going to collect some data
Why is
with
he
you
almost
running
naked?
naturally.
Wearing running shoes, the test subject lands on his heel first, then the rest of the foot connects.
Yeah, okay,
In
so I
runner's
remember this
terms,
part.
This is called a
Like,
heel
not from
strike,
this video, but I remember
and
like
has long been considered
the
the
type of landing.
ideal running style. But the experiment's results offer a different perspective.
This is a skeleton depiction of you running. And that red arrow is actually the ground reaction force as it goes through your heel and through your foot and actually up through your center of mass. Over here on this graph, what you're seeing is this is the ground reaction force as you land. What's interesting about this is that you've got a very distinct impact peak. This impact is the area that we think might be related to injury.
The test suggests that when we run in shoes, there is more impact on both our legs and feet, producing a greater chance of a running-related injury.
Yeah.
And that the extra support running shoes provides could work against us.
The shoes are over-supportive, then the muscles aren't working so hard. And if the
That's like a very good example of people having way too much expensive gear and very low quality movements. Because it's really funny here in Tel Aviv, like I always see like girls who wear like some very expensive like clothes like that they bought from Lululemon or whatever, like that cost them like hundreds of dollars just to buy, and all they do is walk. And like I walk in normal clothes, like I don't get why you had to. It's like a ceremony of I'm not coming out of my house without looking stunning, even if it's for walking. And you also see it with like older people who buy like the most expensive gear for just biking. And it's so ridiculous, man, because it's okay to have good gear, right? It's okay if you want to have more comfort, and I'm not shaming buying good gear as a whole, but like over obsessing about the details of every gear that you buy, that it has to be perfect and stuff. I think this is just a very good example of having very expensive and luxury gear, or something that is really appreciated in our sports society. In reality, doesn't help, and they even say that it hurts you. It's really, I like it. I like seeing that.
The muscles become weak, then you're going to have a greater tendency to get injured as well.
But is there a difference when the subject runs in bare feet?
So Jason, are you thinking about the way that you're landing, or are you just letting your feet land the way they want to naturally land?
I'm letting my feet naturally land the way they want to land.
So you can see he lands completely differently now.
I mean, there's definitely less impact.
Now we're looking at you running barefoot. You can see that
So he
you're
lands
not
on his
landing so much on your heel.
toes
Do you
almost.
see that you have a less distinct impact peak?
I think it's, you know, it's crazy that how much the force, the impact, how much less impact there was.
Yeah.
Could we all be superhuman if we ran without shoes? Probably not. But finding the answers to the mysteries of the Tarahumara's remarkable endurance may take us a step closer to understanding the secrets of the human body.
I think there's an enormous amount that we can learn from people like the Tarahumara, because they teach us about how our bodies were designed to function.
Yeah. So I think what's really cool about this video is that it gives you a glimpse into humanity before we had cities and technology. That's really cool to see, because then you can study people with modern day technology and see how really older generations were like. That's really cool. I think this video is like pretty short about the subject. I'm sure there's like a lot more about it. And I've tried running barefoot like a few times, and I remember that at the beginning your calves muscles get so sore, because the mechanism of landing when you run barefoot is that your toes, or the cushions, I don't know the name of it, like the toes land first and then the heels. And because of that, the muscles that are responsible to control how quick you do this are the calves, and they absorb all of the impact when you land. So your calves essentially are impact absorbers, and they take a lot of impact. And if you're not used to it, it's so It's so painful if you're not used to it, and you've overrun. That happened to me like a few weeks ago because I had to like prepare for some test that we have, and I ran for the first time like way too much, and I couldn't walk for like a week afterwards because it was so sore and painful. So it's really cool seeing that, and I'm sure there's like a lot more information about this, but it seems really cool. What I like, it's not that I like running. I don't like running. I'm sure some of you, or even most of you, do like running. I just don't like it. What I really like about it though is that it's natural. Because like in modern society, you sometimes get the feeling of, okay, I'm being sold to, marketed to too much, and some things, like some truth, cannot be like sold. So making like this incredibly advanced shoe isn't really helping you. And learning what's true, learning what's really helping you and how your body is really intended to move and what makes you feel good is so important. It's like eating junk food versus eating high quality food that you cook yourself and you study what's good for me, what's not good for me. You know, it's not taking the shortcut into what's easy for me right now, what seems right, what everyone is telling me. It's about learning what's really right for me as myself, because we all have different truth, different ways of living and what's good for us. And I really like that. That for me seems like very cool. If you want me to react to other videos about barefoot running or topics that relate to it, because I'm sure there are like a lot of them, it can even be dancing and fighting and whatever. Let me know then in the comments, because I would really love to hear first what you think about this video and about other videos that you think I should react to, because they might also be interesting. If you're interested in movement training and want to learn more about it, you're welcome to check out my channel. I have like videos about many different topics inside the movement world. And if you want to join the community, you're welcome to like this video and subscribe to the channel. There are some really cool and amazing and positive and supportive and intellectual people in this community. Small at the moment, but it will probably grow with time. So you're welcome to join. Anyway, have a good day and peace.